being direct with someone is helping them, even though that's not what they want to hear.
Have that grit, have that confidence, make that change. What's your contribution?
My contribution is being everyone's hype man and their sidekick, and making sure that they've got a cheerleader.
That's a very important position. This is MobileGroove at now, more importantly, Women in Leadership. The women here are remarkable, which brings me to my last interview of the day. I have Jess from CRAFTSMAN Plus, and your title blows me away. What is your title?
Vice President of People Operations.
I love that, people operations. So it sounds like what it needs to be in mobile, right? It needs to be about connection and communication. But what is the job title stand for? What do you do?
I always say I'm I'm the cheerleader, I'm the supporter, I'm the sidekick. I'm making sure that everything in the business is running as well as it could. Wow. Kind of joking with our theme today of songs. I'm like, if there's a problem, I'll solve it. From My Size Baby. But yeah, so my job is to balance the needs of the business with, more importantly, the needs of our people, and making sure that we create a culture that has both at the forefront, with, more importantly, the people at the forefront.
Jess, I have to say, it speaks for your company to have this position. Yeah. I do hundreds of interviews, and I have not found a company that they have that built in and baked in to the hierarchy. Yeah. So that's awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent. So you have a lot of stories to share about working with people, and also, leading with focus, but with empathy. Share a couple of lessons. Maybe it's the hardest one to learn.
I'm fortunate in my career and in my life, and it's funny to use the word fortunate, but I've had a lot of hard times, in what I've gone through. And every moment I've tried to learn from that and think, what would I do differently in that situation? If I was treated a certain way and it didn't sit well. So what you said there with empathy, I'm like, to me, that's the most important thing that I've learned, and where I say fortunate for those hard times, because that's where I learned, like, this did not feel good, what I went through, or the way that something was communicated to me and what happened. And then it's just having that empathy and realizing at the end of the day, we all are human. We're all people. And working through that, keeping your transparency, and most importantly, your authenticity in what you're doing.
There's a playbook to people management. And there's also advice that we get about this. It's always like trying to be neutral and trying to be real, which is real. You need to be authentic, but you do, at the end of the day, you do have to drive it to a result. I had the pleasure of meeting your CEO, so I know that it's very real, because Alex didn't impress me initially as a CEO, but that was good, because it wasn't this slightly arrogant CEO aura that you have with people who are C-level. So yes, there are lessons to being real and to getting real results. Share one for me.
I think you mentioned there's a playbook to people, and there's a playbook and a framework, but something I always say is people will never stop surprising us. You can't plan for people. There's unpredictability in it. And the biggest thing I think as leaders is always just listening, not trying to compare and say, that's something I went through, and it's listening, ingesting, giving people that space to talk about what they need. Maybe at that time you solution, maybe you wait, you step away, and then you say, okay, let's come back with a solution around this, and moving forward that way. But again, it's back to that empathy, that authenticity and kindness that you have. And speaking to Alex, he has that, and I think that's what drew me to staying with CRAFTSMAN Plus and growing and building what we're building. As I said, we're creating that space to where we can be real, we can be human, things happen. And so while I have a playbook of saying, here's what you do and whatnot, but it's, hey, things pivot, we change, we get surprised, we just stay authentic and true to ourselves and our values. Something else important that I say a lot to, especially new managers, is the being too kind aspect is flip your brain, that realizing that being direct with someone is helping them. Even though that's not what they want to hear. Yes. You're helping them with your directness, and you're doing a disservice not only to them, but to yourself and the whole organization if you don't
Because
keep
the world
it real
is
with
going to be
them.
very direct.
Yes.
People are saying, I'm so overwhelmed. What do I do? Is it CTV? Is it this medium? How do I mix the media mix, right? So you find that you're actually more consultative as a company than you ever were before, because everyone's trying to find the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And enabling that in your team as well, so that they feel confident enough to give some advice, not just the sales and the marketing, but the empathy to the customer as well.
Yep. That's one of our values is challenge ideas can be better.
Uh-huh.
And it's no matter who it is, if it's an idea from Alex or Nancy or myself, and you think that's not what's right, we encourage our people to challenge what can be better for us as a whole.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll leave with this thought. Your contribution, what do you want that to be? I mean, it is this culture of stand up, okay, challenge, good, have that focus, have that grit, have that confidence, make that change. What's your contribution?
Yeah, I think mine is it's that pillar of support for everyone. I'm not working out of the business a lot. I'm working in the business. And my job is to make sure that our team can do what they need to do out in the business. So being that pillar of support for our team. And I love it. I've got the sidekick energy. I don't need to be the one that's in the forefront. This is not my most comfortable setting to be in an interview and on blast and in a podcast, but I know what I have to say is important because it matters to my team. Alex has obviously valued me being in this role, having this for our company, but I think that's my contribution is being everyone's hype man and their sidekick and making sure that they've got a cheerleader.
That's a very important position. Behind greatness, is the support, is the encouragement. And it wouldn't be that way if there wasn't someone there to bounce the ideas off or to say, yeah, support me so I can go forth. I mean, some people, they're good at that. Being in the forefront is maybe not always the most impactful.
Yeah.
It's enabling others to be in the forefront. And I've enabled you to tell your story. So I feel great because, yes, you wouldn't have told it on your own.
Yes.
So I did my job.
Yep.
I brought it out for us. And I brought it out for everyone because there are lessons here for everyone out there. And I'm hoping that what happens is that it resonates and we hear back. And of course, we're all in the Women in Leadership community. What goes around comes around. It can only be good.
Yeah,
Thanks so
definitely.
much,
Thank
Jess.
you,
It was
Peggy.
a pleasure.
Yes, thank you. Yes.